Hello and welcome to episode 60 of I'm Fine, a chat between myself, Damo, and masterful storyteller Mark. It was good, that was.
It's too fast though.
What? You got delivery?
Yeah, because I didn't want to...
You wanted to get out of here.
Yeah, you know me, I don't want to go on and on and on.
It's a chat around the subjects of health, wealth, well-being, fitness, culture, vials, and magnificent cocks. We're all work in progress, and this podcast is no exception. In short, it's a poke at our perfectly imperfect lives, and if we can make just one person feel like they're not alone in all this madness, then our work here is done. Make sure you subscribe to us in your podcast app and follow us on the socials by searching for I'm Finecast, and please do drop us an email at imfinecast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Coming up in this episode, usual warm-up and stretch, we have bookmarks and some catching up to do, work-life ballet, why bigger, faster and cleaner isn't always better, Mark, no matter what anyone's telling you.
Don't believe them. Don't believe the hype.
Braid Food crisps are back.
We've
I know.
Yeah.
I've got a crisp review.
Okay.
I can't speak, can I? I think we'll come to a reason why I can't speak in a minute.
Yeah.
Or I need to get...
Too easy.
Actually, can you pass me that piece of paper that's under my crackers over there, please?
Under your crackers?
Oh, you're attached.
No, I can...
Detach. Thank you. Colin's off today, so thanks for explaining why my speech is slurred. Crisp review, and also we've got some life hacks, pearls and nuggets to help you in life. So, hi Mark, is your hat new? I like it. Wow, the colour really makes your eyes pop, adding to your general resplendence.
Thank you. My hat matches my top.
It does, doesn't it?
I can't see your top because it's a camouflage top.
Hilarious. It's just a floating head. That's all you can see, isn't it?
Yeah. Your hat's on your head.
Yeah.
On your head,
I've not seen that hat of yours.
I think you might have.
It's quite
furry.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's like a gone off.
Acornish. It's like a...
I was going to say gone off avocado, but...
Well, that would be brown, wouldn't it?
Well, depends how long you've left it.
I think it's a bit licheny.
Yeah, lichen. Yeah.
Good, I'm pleased you do. Thank you. Good night.
Can we go home now? Yeah. Oh, I am.
Welcome to episode 61.
Yeah. This is easy, isn't it?
Yeah. Quit while you're ahead. Talking of hats.
All right, are you?
Am I okay? Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't going to ask, but...
No, we are where we are, aren't we?
Yeah, you're here.
Asking how was the course today. I'm not going to talk about it, obviously, but
so go on.
I'm about to talk about it. I thought I was going to win the mindfulness again.
Okay.
I thought I was nailed on. So the mindfulness is choose your top 5 favourite songs. Because we have like a little... You probably have to put this in because your sound effects for the fairy tale were wicked. They were absolutely awesome. They added to it so much. And they weren't the same.
You're welcome.
Some were longer than others.
Well, the different one was the narrator's.
Yeah.
I think about these things. I don't just piss about.
No, but it's brilliant. You have the little bong. Yeah, the sort of vibrating. I call it a Buddha bowl. It's probably not a Buddha bowl.
Oh yeah. Oh, like to indicate something's finished. Like,
yeah, so we have that in the mindfulness. So it's like a sort of rubber-ended wooden hitter.
What you'll do? You'll have one.
No, I do have one.
The facilitator.
I do have one, but the facilitator, she.
All right, it was a he last week. I wasn't getting funny.
Difficult. Colin?
She's off.
Oh, yeah. Not surprised with that approach.
She's off with stress.
So anyway, it goes bong, and then you start the process. So she wanted us to write down top 5 songs, tracks, and then it goes bong again, and you work your way through the top 5, going through the lyrics and the tunes in your head.
Right.
So it's mindfulness.
So which bit of this was competitive? All of it for you?
So I thought, this is why I thought I'd win. Like top 5, easy.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember my top 5. I couldn't even remember my woman funeral song. Then I started singing them. The one that was top, I couldn't remember any of the words or the tune.
Right.
And then I got stuck on the third one and just kept repeating the chorus for 3 minutes and didn't even get onto my funeral song. Everyone else was...
You don't have to put yourself through this on Saturday mornings, you know.
I'm paying for the privilege.
Just go for a walk.
I'll go to an S&M
Yeah, save your
parlour.
money. What? It's taking a turn? What?
Well, you said you don't have to put yourself through this sort of torture, and I just... You didn't say torture.
I didn't. That's why I was confused. We could just go for a walk and save money, buy a coffee, and it'd be fine.
Yeah.
You can pay me if you want. For my what? Just my company. I mean, that's got to be worth something, right? Thanks.
Well, you gave me a good reply today, didn't you, to my text?
Oh, to your text. I was terrified after the last episode. I was terrified not to.
You
said, I'm going to be 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I said, excellent. I'll warm up the coffee machine and I'm so excited to see you.
Yeah.
And you went, okay. I could, if you were here, I would have battered you, honestly.
Those 2 letters have got duct tape now on your phone, haven't they?
So this morning, I've had an interesting morning, Mark.
Talk me through it, step by step.
I've received my Bill Gates microchip this morning. 2 days ago, I got the text from Bill Gates saying, your microchip's ready. So
talk me through it.
Which bit? All of it?
All of it. I want to know.
I've received a text from my doctor's surgery saying,
come on down.
Come and book your... price is right. Come on down. So I was in 2 minds, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think it must be hanging out with you.
Do you think?
Yeah. I was like, oh, God. What if they start tracking me? What if I get a blood clot? This is kind of the slippery slope to kind of...
you went into wise mind.
social contrul. And I thought, just be good content for the pod, wouldn't it, if anything?
Yeah, be a sheep.
Sheeple.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I thought it'd be like next week, and it was like the next day pretty much. So I did it at 10 o'clock this morning. Went down to the doctor's. There's a shit ton of people down there.
Yeah. So there was no social distancing.
There was, but everyone was wearing masks. But I think everyone got there and thought, I'm going to go in and have my time slot. I didn't realise there'd be 50 other people all kind of waiting outside in a really bad queue.
You thought it would be 1 in, 1 out.
I didn't know what to expect. But
okay.
But then I thought, I don't want to wait. I just thought, you look at the queue and think, I'm going to be waiting here for about 45 minutes. And then I was in and out before I knew it. But I'm not actually sure why I got chosen, because obviously I'm younger than the current bracket that is being invited.
Well, you're in the bracket that isn't going to get done, aren't they?
Yes, for at least another month.
Yeah, so you don't know why you've...
No, I didn't ask, and there wasn't really an opportunity to find out. No. I think it's probably because I've got a doctor's note, I'd imagine, and my lack of guts, I suspect.
Okay.
Or because I'm ginger, I don't know.
I wanted to say that, and I stopped myself.
Why? What, for fear of offence? You said worse things on here to me.
Guess. Okay.
One thing that was kind of banding around kind of yesterday was confidence, because only yesterday, our Prime Minister, and it seems to be every other Prime Minister in Europe, suddenly had their vaccinations on the same day, which I thought was a weird kind of set of coincidences, didn't you? After all that suddenly they're all moaning about it, then everyone's having it at the same time. That's all kind of weird. Anyway, I was thinking about confidence, and Boris obviously came out, and you said this morning he came out and said... Did you see my Insta story? Yeah, because I saw it on the news last night.
Did you think the same thing when you heard him say it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did sit there and think, so what did he say? I can't recommend it too highly.
Yeah.
You're like, well, can you recommend it?
It's it reminds me of Neil Armstrong on the moon. Oh, right, yeah. Not quite getting it right. Yeah, Someone's obviously said to him, you'd think that would be scripted, wouldn't you?
Yeah. But I was thinking about confidence, and I thought, actually, I imagine there'd be lots of people going, I want the one he's had, because there's all this talk about all the different ones. We almost have too much information, really, don't we? With the flu jab, we don't want to know where it's made. We just go in and get it done. We don't question anything. No. But now we're given so much information, you feel like you almost like you got a menu.
You're an expert.
Yeah. I'm a discerning kind
of patient. It's a bit like Brexit. You're like looking down on people that had Pfizer or AstraZeneca.
Yeah. So I didn't know which one I was going to get. And as you go in, not at any point, they kind of tell you which one you're going to get.
Okay.
So I went into a little room, and the doctor said, just asked me questions about whether I've been ill in the last few days, whether I've been on part of the trial, do I want it? And I said, well, which one is it? And she just ignored me and carried on asking me questions. Then I looked down on her desk, and I saw the paperwork, and it all had AstraZeneca written all over it. So I thought, okay, it's that. But you thought they would have gone, you are having this vaccine today. Are you still happy with it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Why would you be given the choice, really?
Well, not a choice, but if that's the only one they've got, and you got anywhere, it says the Pfizer one, I don't know why. I haven't done the research, but in one of those split judgment decisions.
Well, no one has on any of these.
No, do you know what I mean? No. Well, not even the experts. No, but there's an element
of... Well, Elaine Page has.
Oh, yeah, I'll come to her in a minute.
Yeah.
No, but it feels like if you're trying to encourage confidence, it wasn't just doing with the experience I had, there wasn't anything that kind of helped me become more confident about what I was having. Anyway, but I could have easily cheated the system, because I went into one room, they gave me my little card with nothing on it apart from a date and the name of the vaccine.
Yeah.
And then I was ushered outside into the corridor where basically the fire exit was.
Yeah.
I could have just gone straight out and had my little ticket.
Okay.
There's nothing, I don't think, to have said that I've had it or not. So I could have picked up the card and just gone straight out the back door.
Got you.
Do you know what I mean? So there was no one to go, right, you've had it, it's gone in your arm, bang, here's me stamping it. Or
so you get your sort of
You get your card before
verification before you get
the jab.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling all right, but they give you a bit of paper with all the possible side effects. So 1 in 10 people, it's quite a lot. Tenderness, pain, warmth, redness, itching, swelling, bruising, generally feeling unwell, feeling tired, chills, fever, headache, feeling sick, a lump where you had the injection.
Didn't get all of those though, do you?
Yeah, you do, yeah.
All right.
Being sick, vomiting, flu-like symptoms. I've been fine for a year. There's a good chance I'm going to feel shit in the next 12, 24 hours.
Try and get through these two.
What, these pods? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. That's why I was probably, if I start slurring or, start falling off my chair, then you know why. And it says, just so you know.
Being humorous.
Just
if there's any sort of change from the norm.
But no, right. But if I am, there's a number on here to ring. No, not them. You can ring the manufacturer. It's made in Liverpool, the AstraZeneca thing. But there's a number on here, or just 999, okay? Just as a health and safety announcement. Also, this thing's got alcohol in it. Mm-hmm. There's me, 14...
You drove home?
Yeah. 14 months after giving up booze, they put alcohol in me, and I didn't even know. Disgusting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Elaine Page, she had her vaccine this week, allegedly.
She's fessed up. There's a part 2 to whatever you're going to say.
Okay, let me do that then first.
Okay. National treasure, by the way.
Depends. I guess she is. Is it on her Insta? Yeah, it's on
her
Insta.
It's on Twitter as well.
Yeah, so she put up a video of her having the vaccine, right? Mm-hmm. Shall I play it and then we can talk about it?
Yeah, I'd love to hear it again.
Right.
Vaccine, I am having my vaccine to protect against COVID. Make sure you have yours too. When you have it, you'll understand what happiness is. Look, a new life will begin. Seriously, when you get the chance, have it. It's safe, it's effective, it doesn't hurt, and we all need it to beat the virus. So have your vaccine and make COVID a memory.
So there you go.
It's good.
Yeah, it's awesome, but she's lying because it bloody hurts.
Well, she fessed up that was faked.
Ah, right, because a lot of the comments, because if you see, well, on that clip, we'll put a link up to it, but the nurse is obviously allegedly administering the vaccine, but she hasn't taken the cap off.
Yeah.
And she doesn't plunge.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, conspiracy.
And then she puts the so-say used needle on the side instead of in the box. Did you notice that? You know the yellow box?
Oh, for sharps.
Yeah, right. She didn't put it in the sharps box. She just put it on the side.
Next.
Thinking it isn't a real needle. I'll just leave it here for...
Well, Elaine Page is clean. We'll just put it in the next person,
so
right?
Michael Crawford and John Barrymore will get the same one. It's a Lovey's needle. It doesn't hurt them because they're more precious than the rest of us.
Yeah, true.
So anyway, she was on the news this morning.
Right, okay.
And towards the end, the newsreader went, that must have been a bit of a... And they played it and went, National Treasure, you're lovely. And they went, that must have been a bit of surprise for the nurse. And I'm thinking, there was a camera crew there.
Yeah.
It wasn't a surprise. And the nurse kept the cap on. I think she was in on it.
Yeah.
I think...
She probably had it and then they just did that again,
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
But instead of saying, I faked all that, she sort of went, well, there was a bit of preparation for this, so the nurse wasn't totally, because obviously I had my... And it was just like warbling a little bit. And I think that's fine. It was obvious for the cameras. Interesting on gloves, it's a personal choice. I looked on the NHS. You can decide whether to or not as a nurse.
Oh, right, no. Mine
so
didn't.
Elaine Page and Boris Johnson, their nurse used gloves.
Fascinating, Mark.
But the first woman
this is just kind of the cutting edge journalism we need on this pod.
You've changed.
Come on. Sorry, you're going to give us another nugget?
No.
Good. Is that it? I've got something serious to get across.
Go on then.
Just before we get into some more frivolous things. Is that okay? You're right, looking like you're bursting to say something. You need a toilet or you're right?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. Did you go before you come here?
Obviously.
So, before I get into more bookmarks, I wanted to add a small follow-up on two things, if I may, Mark, if you'd oblige me the time. Just wanted to clarify my comments, because we talked about race in last book one.
Yeah. Yeah, last book one, yeah.
We didn't know it was going there because we started talking about how it started, where it...
Yeah.
And we ended up going, getting all...
I don't think controversial.
No, I don't think so, but I think we were both feeling uncomfortable.
Yeah, unnecessarily so in some respects.
But that was the point we were making, wasn't it? That
exactly.
Why can't we talk about this? And, but we have to be careful what we say, of course, because it's the world we live in, and we'll come to that in the next pod, won't we?
Yes.
Quick thing on race. I'll try and keep it quick because I want to get on. Okay. As we discussed this, because we talked about this week, didn't we? We're happy with what we said, but I just wanted to be rock solid in my view that using race, ethnicity, gender, mental, physical ability, i.e. our differences, aren't insignificant. Just want to be categoric on that because I might have said something that sounded like I didn't mean that, but I kind of did. I use the example of Tiger Woods and how his first US Masters win is often preceded with the first black winner of the US Masters. Now, it's not insignificant as an achievement, obviously. I like to think it's obvious. That's why I'm saying this. When talking about the context of how it was only in 1975 when Lee Elder became the first black golfer to play in the Masters. Yet it was only in 1990 when Augusta National, who hosts the Masters, first allowed black members. And I didn't realise that.
No, I hadn't realised that.
That is mental, isn't it?
It is
1990.
mental. Yeah.
So Tiger won his first Masters title and the first of his 15 major titles just 7 years later. So being the first at something is great. Being the first at something when the world does everything it can to stop you is simply staggering, isn't it? And shouldn't be forgotten.
I didn't think you were trying to minimise that.
No, I wasn't, but I just kind of wanted to add a bit of balance, really. But for me, it's about language, context, and intent, I think. And if we continue not to openly discuss and wait for people to slip up, use it politically and or to whip up divisive clickbait, as we discussed, then we'll continue. Is that your phone? I'm making an important point here. Unbelievable.
No. Oh. Yes.
If we continue to do that, then we'll continue to harbour prejudice and bigotry, I think. So that's kind of a little point on that I wanted to make. But I thought it was interesting about the US Masters stuff.
Did you check when women were first allowed at Augusta?
No.
Okay.
I can do that for next time, can't I?
Are you saying for the club themselves, they said we do not have black people full stop?
Augusta National didn't have any didn't allow black members. There's a club called Shoal Creek, which was a golf club in southeastern United States, Shelby County, Alabama, for all those Americans listening. Designed by Jack Nicklaus, it was opened in 1977. Since it was opened, they prevented any black members.
Okay.
And it all changed in 1990. And I think, it might be one of those things where it only came out then. I don't know. But this club was around from 1977 and from the very beginning banned black players. 1990, they changed their mind. Augusta changed their rules as well. So
that's mad.
It is,
isn't it?
It is mad, yeah.
I can remember, I don't know whether it's the last part of the pod before, I was saying about us saying, or me saying things in the playground that you wouldn't say now, exactly. And that was 1968, and I thought, God, thank God we've moved on from there, and that's 22 years later.
Yeah, but 77, building a golf club and having the rules from the off.
Yeah, and someone sat down and go, let's have some rules.
Yeah, you're right. Secondly, Europe. Yeah, we were talking about Munich, weren't we, and differences. And whilst we're in Europe, we're always made to feel like we're one. We all share the same values and share the same things, but also we're made up of lots of different nations that have very different rules. And have different cultures. There are arguments about, when we're in Europe, there were arguments about how laws weren't our own. Yet, as we discussed, Germany has very different views to risk and very different laws to the UK. So are we really being dictated to? There was lots of arguments that we don't make our own rules. It all comes from Brussels. And Brussels says this and Brussels says that. It's like, well, yeah, but Germany aren't doing that. So
you go into a Greek bar and a lot of them are smoking.
So I just wanted to make it clear that I believe in celebrating our differences and believe it's possible to do so under a wider identity of Europe or United Kingdom, which is clues in the title, isn't it? United, 4 different nations. And more importantly, humanity. It's easy for me to sound splinter-ass when I try to look at all sides, but maybe it's because we're increasingly encouraged to take sides that when you see both arguments, it comes across as weak and indecisive. For what it's worth, I wanted to stay part of Europe, but looking at what's happening now politically and the language that the mainstream media is using, it's clear we're distancing ourselves from a club we were part of just a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure how I feel about it all now. It's getting to the point where it's like, I wouldn't be part of that club now. Do you know what I mean? The way they've been behaving in the last few days. But you think, is this any different to what's been happening over the last 40 years? It's just the language has shifted and the view has shifted. Do you know what I mean? If we hadn't come out of Europe, we'd still be in a whole conversation about vaccines, wouldn't we? Who's getting what? Do you know what I mean? I think we would. It just feels like we're out of it.
Okay, well,
now everyone's kind of going, that's their fault. Aren't they awful, that nasty block? What? Go on.
For me, the rhetoric around Europe has become playground rhetoric from the mainstream media.
Yeah.
And the one thing I wanted to mention...
I'm not standing up for them.
No.
I just think it's interesting how it's like, we're all friends a minute ago, and now it's those buggers over there.
But the way it was presented recently, the lead on the news, when Hugh Pym came in, the Nicholas Witchell of health,
Yeah.
It's like, look how brilliant we are on the vaccines and look how shitter they are. So we made the right decision.
Yeah.
And then you find out that the representative from the EU, I've forgotten the name, I'm sorry, stood up and said, blah, 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 and we might stop this, and we might. This wasn't anything to do with the shortage. The shortage was from India. It wasn't a European. Europe can't go, oh, we're just going to blockade so that nothing gets to Britain because they're doing so well and we're doing shit. It was to do with India, if you look into it. And she also never said at any stage, we are going to block the vaccine going to the UK. She basically said, we'll need to look after ourselves, perhaps. The way that was sold, I think now, is the way that everything's sold. We've gone beyond sound bites. We've become infantile in that everything that has depth and purpose and meaning becomes one-liner.
Yeah.
And
throwaway stuff.
The latest for me, and I stopped reading this because I despaired of it, was Biden was asked a question. Did you hear about this? About Putin?
No.
And I'm going to praise you because I don't want to go into detail. Basically said, Putin's a bit of a killer. What do you reckon, Joe? And he went, yep. And then Putin went, takes one to know one. And you go, just a minute, Mr. Biden.
Yeah.
There's a political way of answering that, because this goes back to our question to the prince, are you racist?
Yeah.
If you ask President Biden, do you think Putin's a killer? You then have to go, do you think 2,000 Muslims are in detention centres in China? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Do you think North Korea is blah, blah, blah?
Yeah.
Do you think, if you look at the strife in Ethiopia at the moment, that is something that is right? Do you think that you're looking to do business with countries that have genocide? Do you feel comfortable about that? You have to ask every question. So one of the things about politics is that you have to have some element of, I don't mean impartiality, that isn't the right thing, but if you're going to say, I think Putin's a killer, you either have to take some action on that, or you just don't say it. And so I think now he's said that, and Putin, I've seen part of Putin's interview that goes, I hope he stays healthy. And I'm thinking, God, there's a good threat, isn't it? It was almost like the guys from Salisbury are going to be round.
Yeah.
But it was just, and he literally did, Putin going, well, takes one to know one sort of thing. And that's the whole thing about this vaccine. We said about 8 pods ago, the way that this needs to be approached is a worldwide approach. And until the poorest nations in this world get the vaccine, the risk doesn't go away, because the whole meaning of the word pandemic is worldwide.
Absolutely.
And for us to glory in the vaccines.
Genuinely, when I got it, I thought, my mum asked me if I was going to have it. And I said, I'd rather my brother had it because he's a 50-year-old copper. Yeah. He said, he's getting his Monday. So, okay. But that's only because he's 50. That's not because he's a policeman. No. Another story. Because that's bullshit, isn't it? That they haven't had it first. I think that's disgusting. Any rude. But I just thought, it's a shame you can't nominate it. I feel almost kind of bad for having it. And there's lots of people who, like we said in a few pods ago, there's some people on the planet are never going to even have the opportunity to have it.
Yes.
And there's me, who, touch wood, been healthy kind of all this time.
Yeah. And you're an 87-year-old in Democratic Republic of Congo. Yeah,
exactly. You start to go, hold on. But kind of being, to my point, being part of me just going innocently down there having that in my arm. Okay, that's just one person, but I'm part of it, aren't I? I'm part of the thing that isn't arguably going in the right direction or could be acted upon in a slightly different way.
But this is the triumphalism that I don't like. We have done, the government have done well.
I've done that. I don't feel like coming out punching the air, going to the news. It's the best thing, it doesn't hurt, and even singing a song. Yeah. I don't feel like doing that.
I've got something on my phone.
I feel a little bit guilty for that, actually.
From ages ago, and we have pre-orders, and I took a screenshot of it, for 360 million jabs. Fair play. No matter what mistakes they've made, they did think about this. And they might be you do maybe question, well, if that's 6 jabs for every person, then we're going to have some left over. But it shouldn't be used as, look how well we're doing and look how shit they're doing. It's like, we are in all this together. It's a worldwide decision. What would be nice to say is like, I hope they do as well as we do. I hope we can work together, or, and it isn't. It's being seen as like, well, there's a good reason for Brexit. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's
imagine if, you wouldn't have getting this in your arm if we stayed in.
And also that the whole thing now that seems to be, whether this is again mainstream media, is that we're now getting a third wave, but it's like in all those European countries.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether it is a third wave. I don't know if it qualifies. I know cases have gone up,
we also
but I
really don't want to be getting smug about that either, do we?
But it's almost, why are we even going, there is that sort of hidden agenda of like, well, told you so.
Yeah. Now look at you.
Yeah. Now you're sorry.
Toss off. Oh, sorry. That was a title. I wasn't being rude to you.
The coin toss
I have more
off.
respect for a gentleman of your age. The act of flipping a coin to determine two possible outcomes is a practice that has taken place for thousands of years.
Okay.
In ancient Rome, there is evidence of a game of chance called Heads and Ships, a reference to the two-headed god Janus, sounds like anus, who frequently appeared on coinage, typically with a ship's prow on the other. Over the years, coin toss has come to be seen as a fair way to reconcile tied situations or occurrences that need to be completely neutral. And I think I put that in bold, completely neutral, because to your point about the home, just why don't you just do it home and away, I would argue that's probably why they don't. To make it neutral, even though you're not on neutral ground, if that makes sense. The ubiquitous coin toss is not so random after all, and can easily be manipulated to turn up heads or tails. A Canadian study has found success depended on how high a coin was tossed, how quickly it was tossed, and how many times it was spun and how it was caught. Whether it's on the back of your hand or in the grass.
Well, if you have it on your hand, this is what I used to do in situations if I was ever a referee and wanted my team
just
to
have a little
feel.
Oh, yeah.
So when you flick it,
you're so corrupt.
No, but if you flick it and you put it on the back of your hand, your top hand can feel whether it's a head or a tail.
You're made of.
So you just go like that.
You've just done that.
You flick the coin. I'm flicking the coin in the air.
You've landed on. You put
it on the back of your hand,
and then you've just taken your hand off.
You could, if you know.
How do you know just with your fingers on top of a coin?
Because you can feel whether it's.
You're not a spider. What's wrong with you? You can't do that. You can. On Britain's Got Talent if you can read the side of a coin with your palm.
But it's also, none of the coins are tested. So, for example, if you go to a referee and you've done this 38 times and you find 37 heads, nobody's keeping these stats.
I love the way you think. On that note, with the design of coins today giving certain sides a specific advantage depending on the geometry and differences in weight between the sides.
Yeah.
Oh, spidey sense over here. You could probably feel this anyway.
There'd be more engraving on the tails generally, wouldn't there?
The tiny weight redistributions caused by the designs alter how the coins land. Different aspects of the catch can also play into this. If the coin is allowed to drop onto the floor rather than being caught straight out of the air, an element of randomness is added. If you spin the coin rather than toss it with your thumb, then again, the designs can add small variations to the way it could land. Someone's been thinking too much about this, haven't they?
Don't like people like that. Just
live
and let
live. You don't like people who think about these things.
Just live and let live.
Yeah, right.
Just take it at face value. There isn't always a conspiracy theory.
You don't win a football game in the first half. I was driving in the car listening to our pod, and that was my statement. Remember we talked about why would you kick towards your fans in the second half? And I was thinking because you don't win a game in the first half unless you're playing against City. Like, what? You don't? No, you can only win once it's finished, or you can only win or lose once it's finished. That's what I was thinking.
But
is it about where you are or where you're kicking? Where you are at the end of the game is my thinking on that. Does that make sense to you?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Why? You see what?
Because
does my point make? You don't have to.
I didn't listen to all your point. I just glazed over a little bit.
Yeah, I noticed that. Your point is
I was too busy waiting to counter your point to actually hearing it. I was already getting
an argument ready.
Go on, go again.
My thought was you don't win a football game in the first half. So if you're down 5-0 in the first half, you've got a chance to go and score 6 goals in the second. Right? That's my thinking.
Okay.
I haven't thought this through too much, clearly, but it's where you are at the end of the game. Does that matter in terms of which end you kick to?
That's just bollocks. It's not even worth countering.
All right. Home advantage. More anecdotal evidence can be found when looking at the World Cup winners. In total, 6 teams have won on home soil.
Yes, very high proportion.
Uruguay 1930, Italy 1934, England 1966, West Germany 1974, Argentina 1978, and France 1998. In 2002, even host nation South Korea, if you remember rightly, made it to the semi-finals. And everyone was like, how the hell do they do that? Actually, they played some good football, to be fair, from memory. Nobody predicted that, so was that coincidence? And finally, on this, because I've got to rattle on, the German footballer manager, you probably heard of this guy because I think he probably played in the 40s. Joseph Herberger, ever heard of him?
That's 2 age references already. Carry on. No, I haven't heard of him.
No, you were.
Don't you hate it on quiz shows? Have I said this before? I'm sure I have. I think 60 is probably our limit.
You held back on a ginger comment, so
you
thought it.
That's because I'm mindful.
Just because I say it, I'm no different to you. Hold on, can I say what he said?
No, not yet. I'm making a point. I didn't correct you about your bloody first half one. That was so ridiculous. I could have made you look.
What? About my what?
Your game isn't won in the first half. Yes, it is.
It's not.
Yes.
It's only one at the end, isn't it?
When I was a bookie, you could bet on football matches.
I found a whole thread on football betting. I didn't want to get into it.
Yeah.
I knew it. I shouldn't have mentioned it.
And one of the bets was a team to be leading at half time and the other side to be winning at 90 minutes. And it was very long odds.
Well, right. So here we are. Joseph Herberger. This is a good point.
Okay.
Hopefully
I'm not
close
helping
this.
you, am I?
No. Well, yes.
Okay.
Actually, in some ways, because this guy said, the ball is round, the game lasts 90 minutes, and everything else is just theory.
Well, that's theory.
You can be losing 1-0 on 88, 90 minutes and still win 2-1, can't you, in the last couple of minutes? It can happen.
Yes.
Yes, that's my point. So if just because you're 2-0 down the first doesn't mean that's the game done, is my point. You've just been going...
What it means is if a side is winning 2-0 at half time, the chances of them winning that match are very, very high. Exceptionally high. When we go for a coffee break, when we go for a half-time orange between pods, the number of sides, you look at someone like...
Yeah, but you cannot argue with my point. This is why. Because factually it is correct. You cannot win a football game at half-time. You can't walk into the game, it's done, lads. Just have to go and sit on our asses in the second. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. You cannot deny that. I'm not getting into all the kind of the odds and sods of betting. So I'm sure you've got all the stats and you've got all the experience, and I bow in your general direction, right? But you can't win a game in the first half.
Well, no, strictly you can't. No, I agree with you.
Right.
You've won again.
What? No, you're just doing this because you can't be bothered to argue anymore. I know exactly what you do. You do this all the time. You do that. No, you are right.
You see,
I can see it in your eye going.
The people that have started listening to us in Australia, who say they love the giggles and our dulcet tones, and now all they're getting...
you've got to save that for mailbag. Just
cut it out.
Just let out.
Just do your job.
Okay. Right, I'm going to do my job and move this on.
Okay.
Game of 2 halves. We'll have one each.
Yeah,
one all, right?
Maybe in the second half I get to say something.
Work-life ballet, Mark. What's the challenge? I feel
fire on. Yeah.
So why bigger, faster, smarter, and cleaner isn't always best. Now I've tried to keep this very simple, and I'm going to make
sweeping statement. Yeah.
Yeah. Just we can open the floor.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Go for it.
Because you normally have something to say.
Might not on this one. It might be a 20-minute
pod. It might be really short then.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to talk about business particularly, but this is the thing. What? Don't, honestly.
But
I'm going to throw the towel in.
But
so bigger. There's much discussion around at the moment about behemoths of large businesses at the moment. We've touched on Amazon recently. You did, in terms of their soaring profits. Facebook is facing up to some serious allegations of monopolising the digital landscape. And
the Australia one?
It's not the news stuff.
Yeah, the news stuff with Murdoch.
They've all settled now, haven't they?
Yeah, they've all settled, yeah. I'm just trying to get Australian references.
Oh, I see what you mean.
We're big in Queensland.
Are we? I've not seen. This is all new to me. I don't know. I wonder what you're going on about them.
Okay.
Hi.
G'day.
Oh, no. Oh, that's...
Yeah, that's it.
Sorry.
All we need is one more Barbie reference and corks round hats, and then we got the hat trick.
So allegations of monopolising the digital... I don't think it's really allegations of monopolising the digital landscape, is there really? They're pretty much monopolising the digital landscape. Bullying competitors into extinction or acquisition. Only a couple of days ago, Russell Brand put out a video on this exact thing called Silicon Valley's Power Grab. Can big tech be broken up? I've watched about 5-6 minutes of it. It's bloody brilliant.
It's
really good. And it is funny and scary at the same time. A statement by Apple CEO Tim Cook has confirmed that Apple buys a new company every month. While the acquisition strategy is aimed at offering better services, the tech giants are killing competition by making one sale at a time. You don't have to bully companies into being bought. But if a company is trying to, make its way of being a challenger brand, for example, someone goes, £1 billion, you go, yeah, right then.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? I think as soon as there's a chance of new companies blooming and contributing to decentralizing big tech, because that's the whole thing about trying to break, American government trying to break this up. And I think they are often snuffed out or sucked up, really. Yeah. All this data on us is pretty much what's at stake, really, isn't it? And it's in the hands of big tech and not localized governments, which is, I think, something they're clearly terrified of. I think all governments are terrified that power is in data and the data is on us. The establishment don't have any power over us.
I think it's just interesting, though. I think the whole data thing, because I think Apple, one of their registered addresses is Ireland, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
It isn't for the whole business. I think it's for the intellectual property. department.
Yeah.
Something came to mind. I just saw a little clip on this. The equivalent in America of Dragon's Den, it's some Shark's Tank or something.
Yeah.
And I think about 7 or 8 years ago, they had a guy putting forward basically the doorbells with a video in. Is it Ring or Hive or, whatever it is now.
Yeah.
And I think he valued it at 7 million. And I think they went, it's a nice idea, but get out of here for 7 million. And he's just sold for $1 billion to Amazon. And as you were saying that, we see Amazon there as a retailer. They're not a retailer.
Oh, yeah.
They've bought something there that's around surveillance and data and information. Yeah. And that's where the money is.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Definitely.
It is. It's a longer burn, probably. But
yes.
In terms of value.
But once you've got it, no one else can get it. Yeah. Once you've got that data.
That's right. So faster, your monologue the other day was fueled by the notion that everything feels like it's getting faster.
Yeah.
There's a key thread of ours in this pod, isn't it? Where the speed of life's individual parts consolidate a real pressure and anxiety in us to go along with it.
Yeah.
I was trying to think actually what things are fast. Really, I think kind of communication is certainly fast, isn't it?
Yeah.
The speed of talking about data, where we can access data so quickly.
I think responses are quick.
Yeah.
There isn't time to draw a breath. You're expected to answer straight away.
Yeah, on everything, isn't it?
Yeah.
I got this article in Wired in 2019 saying the average American car may be capable of reaching triple-digit speeds, but the average American driver spent 97 hours sitting in traffic in 2018. Public transit systems in cities like New York and San Francisco are stuck in here's a word, miasma of delays. High-speed rail projects have plateaued in many nations as governments balk at their high costs. That's happening here, isn't it?
Yeah, except we're not balking, we're just going ahead and building it.
I think other people are balking, aren't they?
Yeah.
This is not just America, this is all over the world, but it's just in relation to America. Hi, America. See what I've done there?
Yeah. We're stuck on 36 states. So.
Oh, wait, do we need a few more? How many are there? 52 to get? Are we collecting them, are we? Okay,
top
cool.
Trumps.
Okay.
Top Bidens.
Very good.
Thank you.
American industry.
Watch your step. Oh, bless.
Oh, no.
No, I'm not going to even joke about that.
No, it's not funny.
No.
No, you put me off.
Sorry.
It's all right. He's all right, though. American industry is cooking up ways to solve the slowness problem. Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, as we know, is working on networks of tunnels in places like Los Angeles and Las Vegas. The idea is that cars and shared pods will zoom through them on a skateboard-esque electric platform. Companies with names like Virgin Hyperloop One, Hyperloop Transportation Technologies, and Transpod have spent millions pursuing the concept of the train-like Hyperloop, arguing that whizzing through a tube is the fastest way to the future. Overhead, General Electric, Lockheed Martin, and startup Boom's Supersonic are just some of the players working to revive supersonic passenger flight.
Okay.
I always think that was a weird one, getting Concorde. Way ahead of its time, bin it, and then everyone just starts.
Because it had one crash in Paris.
Yeah.
And
then kind of talking about that, there's why do we want to get somewhere so fast? Is that about business? Is that just generally in life? It's not all about business, isn't it? Just even with back on Concorde, the idea of getting to New York in for 4 or 5 hours. People were going to New York for one business meeting and then flying back, weren't they?
Yeah.
But I guess in a time where they didn't have
getting
Zoom
back before they left.
Oh yeah. But also, my last kind of point on this was cleaner or greener, and the world is going green, yet there's huge questions around the true green credentials of, say, battery-powered cars, for example. It's true that side-by-side comparison, once built and on the road, battery-powered cars are better for the environment, but their impact from their concept and production is highly questionable if you put them side by side.
Yeah, I mean, just something on there, something I was reading about single-use plastics, which is obviously, and we said a little while ago, didn't we, to banning of straws to save the turtles, to me. And I know if everybody does their little bit, and I'm just thinking, I get the concept of that if everybody is more aware and they do their bit. But it's that conflict for me that you will get people going, yes, we're gonna go to paper straws because that is going to help the pollution in the thing. But I'm going to order a packet of sweets from Amazon and they'll get here by 10 o'clock today. And I don't care that that's in a diesel van.
Yeah, as long as the turtle then got straws up their noses, the rest, everything else can burn to shit, right?
And so what happens is that there becomes, in the way that we are given clickbait, there will become things that everybody will come onto. I mean, metal straws. People are having metal straws.
Okay, do you not carry your metal straw around with you, Mark?
But I mean, the energy. I mean, I'd love to know the energy in producing one metal straw.
Yeah.
Compared to.
Also, where does metal come from?
I guess they just grow it. I don't know. So anyway, the point I was
No,
going to make
you have
was...
to dig this shit up, don't you? You have to dig it out the ground.
It was like I said about solar panels are made from
Yeah.
coal and quartz,
Yeah.
which is quarried. But the point I was going to make, and so one of the things that's been banned, I think fairly across the world, or as at least is on most people's list, is cotton buds that have the...
Oh, yeah. We got the bamboo ones.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so you don't have to have the plastic, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
Not knocking it at all.
Yeah.
But...
They're just 3 meters long, that's the thing.
Jousting sticks. But the decision to ban certain things, such as cotton buds, one thing was excluded that is one of the biggest single-use plastics in the world, and that is, you can have a guess?
No.
Cigarette filters.
Okay. Oh, right.
I think it's something like 4.5 trillion of them are chucked into the environment.
Oh, you see them everywhere, don't you?
Yeah. So just a minute. We're going to change straws,
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah.
something that the whole world
Fa-
is throwing on the
fag ends a
floor
bit on- yeah.
and has
No, that's a good point.
single-use plastic in it. Why aren't we banning
Because it hasn't been up a turtle's nose, Mark. Has it?
it? No.
That is literally that video. Have you seen that video?
With the turtle
Yeah.
and the straw. Yeah.
It's horrendous. That changed it
Yes.
all, didn't it?
Yeah.
Because fag ends weren't being stuck up there.
But if you showed a
How
turtle
many animals
with a roll up, that would get the message across to
Well, I
people.
bet they'd get a nice smooth one with those flippers, wouldn't they?
Yeah. You could roll
Anyway.
some brilliant spliffs, couldn't you? You could have turtles.
Well, the angle is where you get
trained.
nice cones, wouldn't you?
And the Galapagos tortoise, they're so old, they'd give something to do in there. Because they can't crochet or do bowls or anything, could they? They could just roll spliffs. Anyway, the point I'm making is, I wonder why cigarette ends weren't banned. Or maybe it's because they bring in trillions of dollars of duty.
Oh,
I
no,
know.
can't be that.
Whereas straws don't.
Yeah, they're not taxing straws, are they?
No.
So are they made of plastic? Guys, I'm not sitting here thinking, oh, didn't they just, have they all biodegraded by now? But I'd never really questioned what they're made of.
No, nor have
Yeah,
I.
if we went for like a mile walk, we could probably pick up 50 of them.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
But on that, digging up stuff. So whilst we're using lithium-ion batteries, we'll be looking for lithium and mining it at a steady rate for the next 20 to 30 years at least.
Yeah.
And Cornwall's kind of been identified as one of the next hotspots for lithium. There's plenty in their mills down there.
No, I was just going to
butt in with your butts.
Oh, wow. Cigarette filters are made of a plastic called cellulose acetate. When tossed into the environment, they dump not only that plastic, but also the nicotine, heavy metals,
Arsenic.
and many other chemicals they've absorbed into the surrounding environment. Let's just draw breath. A coughing smoker's breath.
That generally was a real cough I just
What
had.
the fuck is going on? I've just read that. I didn't know that cigarette butts were made of plastic.
Well, tobacco's got arsenic, so you'll have arsenic in there as well.
And heavy metals.
Yeah.
And there's whatever trillion of them being chucked into the environment.
Every gutter,
Yeah.
outside every Tesco.
So why
There's a whole load of
aren't
them.
we up in arms about this? We're up in arms about coffee cups or about straws.
I've just said it hasn't been up a turtle's nose, Mark. How many times do I have to tell you?
I'm
God.
gonna go on
We're
a
going to find a turtle. That's what we need to do. Find a turtle, a willing one. Because
Yeah.
we won't want to force anything upon it.
They did it with beagles.
That it wasn't... yes, true. We won't want to get, an unwilling or unconsenting
No,
tortoise, would we?
no.
We'd have to
Well,
talk...
turtle.
Turtle, same thing. We'd have to... I think he'd be up for it if we could go, look, this is for mankind. We just need to...
For the gram.
We need one of those little weepy video clips. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Digital currency is my last point on this.
Okay.
Take Bitcoin as an example. It has a value because it's finite, like gold and lithium. I think a lot of people don't realise this.
Yeah.
And requires energy to mine it.
Yes. Yeah.
This is from The Independent yesterday. This is hot.
Hot.
It is hot. Analysis by the University of Cambridge suggests the Bitcoin network uses more than 121 terawatt hours annually, which would rank it in the top 30 electricity consumers worldwide if it were a country.
Mad. And terawatt's a great word, isn't it? I'm
No,
scared already.
What the hell's a terawatt?
It's like a terrapin.
Isn't it?
Back to the turtles.
Yeah.
Power Turtles by Terawatts.
Power Ninja Turtles.
Do you remember, did you at your school, did you have a terrapin? Is it called terrapin? Those temporary buildings that lasted forever in schools. Was it just
What, a
me?
mobile? It used to be called a mobile. Not a terrapin.
No,
What are you on about?
I was just about really rude then. No, I think it's a terrapin. No, is it not a terrapin?
I don't know.
They were single story,
Yeah.
square.
Like caravans, but classrooms.
Well, yeah,
So temporary kind of buildings.
yes,
Mobiles.
terrapins.
Okay. I mean, Bristol isn't far from Lichfield, but
Yeah, well, the
Feels
60s
like
is
we're
a long way
different-
from the 80s.
That's a good point. That's a
If
really
they were
good point.
temporary in the 60s, they're not going to be there when you're growing up, are they?
Yeah. What
And you
would
called
make
them after a phone. Strange.
it- No, we were ahead of our time, you see.
Yeah, try and pick one of those up and make a call.
Whilst you're looking at that,
Yeah.
all these threads going. Look at us with all these plates spinning, Mark. The amount of energy Bitcoin's network consumes did not rise to serious prominence until 2017, when a major price rally drastically pushed up its energy needs to the level of a small country. As the market cooled off in the years following, so did energy demands. But the latest all-time high hit this week,
Yeah.
of Bitcoin hit another high this week, is more than double that of 3.5 years ago. And this time its energy requirements are even greater. This is a quote by Charles Hopkinson, CEO of leading cryptography firm IOHK. He said Bitcoin's energy consumption has more than quadrupled since the beginning of its last peak in 2017 and is set to get worse because energy inefficiency is built into Bitcoin's DNA. Bitcoin's carbon footprint will get exponentially worse because the more its prices rise, the more competition there is for the currency and thus the more energy it consumes.
I saw some of these graphs as well, and I must admit, I sent you that digital image.
Oh, the NFT. I put it in the other week and I took it out because it's a bit of a yawn fest.
It is a bit of a yawn fest.
I want to bring it
but
back at some
I've been
point.
following that person for ages. And
Is this Beeple?
Sorry, no. It's the one on Instagram.
Okay. Beeple's one of the ones who's just sold him. He's what, a piece of
Yeah,
artwork,
no,
like
this
7
guy
million.
I've been following for a while. He hasn't been selling it.
Okay.
He's the one who got 2,800 or something for
Okay.
that. Fantastic image. I love the image. But no, I hadn't realised you'd taken it out. So very quickly, this is from CCE magazine.
Yeah.
I'll send you a link rather than a screenshot.
No, please.
Terrapin came into existence in the late 1940s. So as I say, it's my genre.
Well, is it
my
spelled
age
the same as a small animal?
Yeah, I think so. Well, this has got double R. I've got a feeling that animal might be
So
single R.
what is it then?
Came into existence in the late 40s, following the rising demand. I was thinking that the other day. The Second World War ended 15 years before I was born. It's like how easily we forget.
Well, how old you are? I don't. I remind you every
No,
pod.
the stuff. Yeah, no, the stuff that's happening in the world. Like,
Oh no, it's not. Yeah, isn't no.
we haven't learned a single
No,
thing.
no, I know.
There's genocide happening in a nation, and
Yes.
we're sitting there going,
Yeah.
That was the
Look how
other
much
discussion.
Bitcoin's going for.
Yeah, that was the other discussion, not the Biden-Putin one. But did you see China came to have a visit with America? And this American diplomat sat there, sort of went, okay, we need to work together, but we're not too happy because we think we've heard. He basically goes, we've heard that there's some things in your country that, really, when you think about it, you could do better.
Right.
Basically, they were given 2 minutes to do an introduction.
That could have
to
been
this.
anyone talking to anyone, but I presume it's them talking to the Chinese.
Yeah, talking to
right?
the Chinese. And it was agreed that they would have 2 minutes to
Right.
talk. And he went like, but, we don't want to turn a blind eye to this, but, let's try and see how we can get. And basically, the Chinese diplomat went like, shut the fuck up. You're no better than you should be. And we're the new kids in the block. And it's like...
Is that why he's a diplomat?
Yeah. And it was very powerful. And it basically went, you're not all that.
Yeah, it's like get off your high horse. You know what it is, isn't it?
Yeah. And he said, like, do you honestly...
So we've all got
what was coming
problems.
across, the Chinese diplomat was always going like, look at your... And he then went into a 20-minute tirade and went like, you're telling us what to do. And then went through riots, unemployment, poverty, Black Lives Matter, and just spewed out,
Russian
gun crime,
influence.
Russian influence. And you sort of thought, this is, again, its very playground. And it's like, we're having diplomatic discussions. I only found out a couple of weeks ago, the Winter Olympics 2022, China. What the fuck are we doing as a world that we're going to go to China and celebrate the Olympic torch and the Olympic ideals? And the last thing I'm going to do is Apple have stopped using a company in China called Ofilm,
Right.
who are one of their suppliers.
Right.
Because they have a sneaking suspicion. It didn't say outright proof, but a sneaking suspicion that they're using the detention centres for Muslim detention centres to produce stuff that Apple are now using. So they've stopped the contract. And I'm thinking, if Apple have got enough evidence to stop using a producer because they think it's been used in forced labour camps, and we're still sitting around, he says, with his Apple in his hand and you with an Apple Mac, but at least they've taken some sort of stand. But governments aren't. Yeah. This is ridiculous. And there's other stuff as well, stuff that's happening in Ethiopia. I don't know if you've seen that recently.
I saw a little bit. Is it safe to say, Mark, that China aren't on our listening figures? Is it safe to say?
No, they're not.
Good job.
If they were, I'd change my tune.
That's what I'm saying.
I'd shove off the Australians and the Germans from last week, and it would all be anyway.
Right,
Terrapins came into.
Oh right, we haven't done that yet. Hurry up! I've got to wrap up.
Okay, I'll be quick. Terrapins came into existence in the late 1940s, following the rising demand for new buildings after World War II. During the 50s and 60s, the company was best known for education accommodation. Terrapin quickly becoming recognised as a building concept. And when you look up terrapin in the Oxford Dictionary, the second definition in the world is a prefabricated one-storey building.
Or mobile.
Just wait. This was in the 60s and 70s. During the early 80s, some people in the Midlands misguidingly called them mobiles. This was soon thrown out as being irresponsible and dim-witted.
You're such a twat. Right, let's go on. Dim-witted. You were great. So, brain food. Mark, I just wanted a couple of things to talk about here.
Do I know what's coming?
Yeah.
Okay.
One of them you do.
Because I've suggested it.
Talk about predictions. You talked about breakfast and macros on episode 58, Premier League tossers. And, I don't know, a day later.
The world exploded.
BBC News.
Yeah.
Headline, are we getting breakfast all wrong? And I sent it to you and you were like, what the actual? Didn't you?
Yep.
The article was talking about how our habits have changed over the past year with lockdown. I think, people maybe getting up and, having a bit more time maybe because they've got to drive to work or whatever, so they can get up and have a crack at making breakfast. So Tim Spector, Professor of Genetic Epidemiology at King's College, said breakfast has become very, very limited in the UK. In some cultures, breakfast is often leftovers or similar to foods you would have for lunch or dinner.
Yeah.
Says medical doctor Rupi Aujla. For instance, on the Pakistani breakfast menu, you may find some semolina hava, chickpea curry, spiced potatoes, sounds delicious, paratha, puri and nihari, a lamb or mutton shank stew. According to cook Samaya Yusmani, in Vietnam, noodle soups and fried rice are staples, as well as, you'd know this, being a man of the world, banh mi opla, a fried egg in a baguette with meats, pickled vegetables and a chili sauce.
Didn't have it in Vietnam.
Okay.
2 years ago I was in Vietnam.
But I think the whole point is, like you were saying, weren't we just eating kind of granola or porridge every single morning? Why aren't we going up and having, meats and eggs and kind of a variety? It is odd, isn't it, how we've just done that?
Yeah.
It's like when you get to open the fridge and there's leftover Dominoes. And I'm like, oh, meaty, or have some of that. And everyone goes, oh, it's disgusting, what pizza in the morning? It's like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
What if I was on night shift? This is my tea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Weird,
it's a bit about, I often use the analogy of a Martian comes down and asks you a question. So a Martian comes down and says, what do you have for breakfast? I have the same thing every day.
You idiot.
It's porridge. So what, you just have a bit of oats and a bit of milk. So do you not ever want something different? And the answer generally is, I wouldn't consider. That's what my breakfast consists of.
Silly. Get back in your spaceship, piss off.
And so, you're going to be on this earth for 80 years and you're just sticking, no, sometimes at the weekend I'll have eggs. Yeah, but what about the rest? Do you know what I mean? It's why would we limit ourselves in that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The other thing, I realised I haven't had Space Raider crisps for years.
No.
But there was a big grab bag of beef Space Raiders in Tesco's. Oh my God.
Good.
We haven't talked about crisps for a while, have we? I think the first probably 8 pods are literally just crisp chatter, aren't they?
Yes. Yeah,
from memory.
We've left it.
And you were big into crisps and chocolate. Oh, the crisps and chocolate combo, weren't you? But I think you started off the crisps.
Hand up, sir.
What?
2 things.
Yeah.
This isn't an interruption. This is an embellishment.
Oh.
Have you finished on the Space Raiders?
It doesn't fucking matter now.
So, one of my clients bought me a meal deal a couple of weeks ago because she didn't think I was eating, which was sweet. Really nice.
What sweet meal deal? Oh, is that right? Okay.
And so I put it in the fridge, but I put the whole meal deal in the fridge, including the crisps.
Okay.
And they were giant, mega-size hula hoops, beef hula hoops, but the big ones.
Yeah, I know.
They've been in the fridge 2 weeks, fresh as a daisy.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think you're going to change and put them in there.
No. What? Hold on. Buy a bag of crisps and leave them 2 weeks? No. They barely last 20 seconds. That's literally how I eat crisps.
I've interrupted for no particular reason other than saying I had
the first time or the second time?
The second time. I've had a beef flavour snack to go alongside your Space Raiders.
All I'm saying is get on the beef Space Raiders if you can.
Yeah.
Also, I tried McCoy's Sizzling King Prawn as well. Because normally McCoy's, it's about you, but I'd always go for the beef. Or the
Well,
meaty,
the
or the
flaming
meaty
steak.
ribby flavour. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but meat, yeah.
'Cause why you just wouldn't go for anything else. That's not
No.
what they're in the business for, is
No.
it? But give the king prawn a go
Ridged?
for extra pleasure.
No, that's king prawn.
I've got some mailbag. I've got a letter from the Premier League.
Carry on.
Keep getting these letters. We had, what was the last one from Crystal Metheny at the PT Union of the UK.
Yeah, I've
Which
made
seems to
some
be
errors,
upsetting
haven't I?
people. Yeah, well, I think we've both been guilty of
Is it me again?
There's both of us. Shall I get into it?
Yeah.
Dear Mark and Damo, well, that pissed me off to start
It's the wrong
with.
way round.
I know, exactly.
Even I know that.
Rude.
Yeah.
Never listen to the podcast. I'm too busy for that.
Okay.
However, my PA has brought this very serious matter to my attention, and I write this with a sense of urgency in the hope that you'll remedy your mistake.
Okay.
So angry people, aren't they?
Yeah.
In your episode entitled 58, Premier League Tossers, a vulgar and tasteless title in my opinion, and not actually at a target of my disdain, you incorrectly referred to our organisation, and I quote, the Premiership.
Okay.
In fact, you used the term Premiership at least 7 times, which over-exasperated my PA, and now me.
Mm-hmm.
If you're real football fans, then you'll know that the term Premiership hasn't been used since 2001, since our association with that awful cheap lager Carling ended. We worked very hard on our branding, messaging and public relations to ensure that we remain the flagship of elite football throughout the world.
Throughout the world?
Throughout the world.
Okay.
This relentless quest for a world-class reputation can be seen in our current approach to the COVID-19 pandemic and in all of our staff and players' impeccable behaviour with respect to the safety guidelines on and off the pitch.
Yeah. The report that came out this week wasn't good timing then, was it?
What was that, Mark?
Let's carry on with this.
Okay. He finishes up. I'm sure you'll look to rectify your language in the future and continue to offer your podcast to those who can be bothered to listen. I mean, he's made his point. There's no need to kind of keep hammering home. Warmest regards, Mark Deman. He's another Mark, acting CEO at Premier League. So,
Yeah, well, we can only apologise.
yeah, listens have been going really well.
So I don't know. I'm stats man. Yeah.
Yeah,
Stato.
yeah, you are.
Do you know March the 14th?
Have we broken records?
It was our best day ever.
Really?
Yeah. 7 people
No, what?
from around
Really?
the world. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Highest listenership by ever.
Great.
All that happens is I say thank you.
Well, I was going. My first point here was I was going to reiterate what you said last week and say thank you to everyone who listens, because I've been looking at the stats in not as much detail as you do, old Stato. But right, I need to get on. We need to get on. We're doing so well now. We've gone off. Right, life hacks. I just wanted to echo what you said in the last episode when you were talking about stopping and just giving something 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean sitting at a T-junction and kind of go, oh, which way shall I go? But things do look different in an hour in the morning and maybe a day or two later, don't they? So I think that's a really good one. We've kind of talked about it, but I did it this week. I thought I'm just going to sleep on that one. I'm going to park that. I'm not going to look at it and come back to it. And it was good advice. Mark, remember when you drank? Remember that? And you used to get annoyed that your ice cubes were watering down your Lambrini.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you used to be raging about it.
Mm.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
Oof, angry. You do then, right? Shame this podcast wasn't around at that time, because you'd have known to simply freeze grapes instead of water and use them to cool your fruit perry.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And you
But
wouldn't
don't
have been...
give them to your dog.
What, grapes?
Yep.
They're bad for them, are they?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
That's a 2-in-1, isn't it?
It is. Double bubble.
In fact, every time you give me a life hack now, I'll give you a second.
Okay,
second
see what
reason
you
why
can
it's
do
good.
here.
Okay.
When viewing houses, as well as checking for the obvious things like damp subsidence, leaky roofs, nuclear power stations at the end of your garden, that kind of thing, remember to check your phone and see what the reception's like.
Yep.
That's important. And then turn the taps on to see what the water pressure's like, because that's something you don't normally do. Because then you get all happy, you move in, and the day in, and the day you move in, you get all excited, turn the tap on, you got like a dribble.
Okay.
And you're like,
so follow-up life hack.
Okay.
If you view your house in the day, go back that night at 2:00, have a rave, and see what your neighbours are like.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because if they're the moany type, you're not going to move in, are you?
No, that's a good point.
Okay, next.
Have I done 3?
Nope.
Yeah, I have. I've done 3. But do you want an avocado one?
Mm-hmm.
Mark,
It does avocado.
do you ever have trouble identifying how ripe your avocados are? It's quite a personal question.
You meant to squeeze its bottom?
No. Knew it. Well, simply Simply remove the small stem cap on top of the fruit, and if it comes off easily, then it's good to go.
So what, unwrap it?
No, the little knobbly bit, like it's the stem.
Yeah,
Instead
no,
the
but they're
stem-
often in wrappers, aren't they? I guess they're not if they're single.
Well, once
Okay.
you've bought... Oh, but it was find something. So you haven't added to that when you've taken away.
Okay.
How do you feel about that? Go and sit in the corner and think about your
Feel
actions.
so.
Okay,
He's not a good-looking boyfriend, but he does avocado.
it's good. That's it for this episode. Well done for getting this far, and thanks for listening. Give us a follow on Instagram and Twitter at I'mFinecast, and send your feedback and ideas to imfinecast@gmail.com. Don't forget to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, and tell a friend or two. In the next episode, life before mobile phones and the madness of the internet.
Mm-hmm.
You're right,
I was just holding my
Do you-
breath. I don't know why.
because it's the anticipation, I guess.
Mm.
Right. So we'll see you in the next episode.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Bye bye.